So, let's say you found a full-size OEM tower that you just found lying by the dumpster, okay? In this video, that actually happened to me, and you might actually recognize this PC, as this is the same PC that I did within the Dumpster PC collab with Weatherman, so Weatherman also found a nice dumpster PC. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead, and in today's video, we're gonna upgrade this thing and turn it into the gaming beast it needs to be. But first, let's get on with the specs, and let me explain to you why I chose the GPU that I'm going to put into here. Alright, so, what is this dumpster PC packing? Well, it is an HP Z220 mid tower, featuring 32GB of DDR3 1600MHz dual channel RAM, and CPU wise, we have the Intel Core i7 3770 running at 3.4GHz with 4 cores and 8 threads. Storage wise, we have the 500GB SATA 3 SSD, which I'm pretty sure is the exact same one used in the video with Weatherman. So basically, it's around the same specs as in Weatherman's video. But yeah, GPU wise, we have the MSI Gaming X AMD Radeon RX 480 4GB. Now yes, I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but the reason why I chose this is because this thing actually pairs really well with the Core i7 3770. And I do have an 8GB version coming soon, an 8GB 480 reference model, that I may or may not pair with this i7 3770. But yeah, the 480 and the 580 and the 470 and 570, they both will, all of them will pair really well with this 3rd gen Core i7. Especially in terms of multi-core games, as well actually in single-core games like CS2 for example, that's a bit single-core bound, it does actually, the Core i7 does actually kind of struggle. And the CPU boosts up to 3.9GHz, which is its max turbo speed. The K variant can boost up to 4GHz. But yeah, let's get on with the gaming benchmark, shall we? As well, normally I would go on with the video, like the general usage benchmarks, but we already did that in Weatherman's video, so make sure to go check out that video if you want to see how well this thing does in like YouTube, for example. But yeah, let's get on with the gaming benchmark, shall we? As well, yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. Starting off with BeamNG, at 1080p normal, we got an average of 58 FPS with 49 FPS 1% lows. I tested this on Grimmat V2, which isn't particularly demanding when it comes to VRAM, so the 4GB RX 480 didn't have much trouble keeping up. The Core i7 3770 also wasn't really bottleneck at these settings, and both the CPU and GPU stayed surprisingly cool and quiet throughout the test. What's especially nice to see is how much better this is compared to my previous test of the same PC using the Intel HD 4000 integrated graphics on this Core i7 3770. Back before this upgrade, BeamNG at just 720p lowest got an average of around 14 FPS, while the RX 480 4GB is now delivering 58 FPS at 1080p normal and on the newer version. That's more than 4 times the average frame rate, while running at a higher resolution and much higher settings, and with the new update, you gotta remember that. So this dedicated GPU completely transformed BeamNG on this machine from a slow, ugly, and unplayable mess to something that's actually pretty decent to use. And overall, I would just say this is a very playable experience, even on some more demanding maps. Moving on to Counter-Strike 2, at 1080p low, the system averaged 114 FPS with 78 FPS 1% lows. There was some initial stuttering when new effects appeared for the first time, which is an issue that can happen on older AMD GCN cards, like this RX 480. It ranges from the HD 7730 based on GCN 1, all the way up to the Vega graphics in my laptop based on GCN 5.1. But thankfully, it goes away after the first round of match. Once everything had loaded in, the game felt very playable. The biggest limitation here was actually the Core i7 3770, because the RX 480 4GB is capable of pushing well over 200 FPS at these settings. So if you're trying to get extremely high frame rates in CS2, the CPU is going to hold this dumpster PC back, not this really, actually pretty decent RX 480. But for normal 1080p gaming, over 100 FPS is still pretty impressive, and is what I would call basically pretty well into the competitive territory for CS2 gameplay. Minecraft Java was tested at 1080p with 12 chunks of render distance, fancy graphics, and the Silder's extreme volumetric lighting shaders enabled, and the system averaged 91 FPS with 1% lows of 43 FPS. The RX 480 actually did really well here, and despite it being a 4GB card, VRAM wasn't a problem at all here since this is Minecraft Java we're talking about. The main limitation was actually the CPU, with chunk loading occasionally causing some stutters, and spiking the CPU usage up to 100%. The newer Vulkan-based renderer could potentially help out this old system by making better use of the hardware. The i7-3770 also got a little hot and occasionally reached 100% usage, but considering this is a CPU that's around 14 years old, this is still a surprisingly good result. A completely free PC running Minecraft with shaders at over 90 FPS, well obviously there's also the RX 480 in there, is definitely not something that I expected when I pulled this thing out of the dumpster. And yeah, this one GPU turned this thing into a gaming beast. Like, man, this can probably play most AAA games out there at low settings and still get like 30 to 60-ish FPS. But yeah, especially for games like Minecraft and other indie games, this will be an awesome system for that. Next up is GTA 5 Enhanced. At 1080p high, we averaged 85 FPS with 61 FPS 1% lows. The biggest limitation here was the RX 480's 4GB of VRAM, which was completely maxed out at 1080p high. Because of that, I couldn't really increase the settings without running into more memory limitations. The CPU is also getting close to becoming a bottleneck, sitting at around 85 to 95% usage, and in more demanding areas, the frame rate could drop to around 70 FPS. The old Polaris-based RX 480 also doesn't support ray tracing, so those features obviously aren't available here. Even with those limitations though, this is extremely impressive. GTA 5 Enhanced is still a demanding remaster released in 2025, and this dumpster PC is still pushing well over 60 FPS at 1080p high with hardware that's around a decade old, and that Core i7 is a decade and a half old almost. Maybe with the 4GB variant of the RX 480, we could set the settings up to very high and see probably around the same FPS, as this 480 is just a beast. But yeah, overall, a very nice experience and a very playable one at that. Doom Eternal was tested at 1080p high, where the system averaged 77 FPS with 57 FPS 1% lows. The 4GB of VRAM was getting very close to becoming a limitation, but it wasn't quite enough to ruin the experience. The CPU wasn't a bottleneck at all, staying around 50% usage, while the RX 480 remained surprisingly cool during the entire benchmark. Considering Doom Eternal came out in 2020, and this PC's CPU dates all the way back to 2012, getting nearly 80 FPS at 1080p high is genuinely impressive. This is definitely one of those games where the RX 480 shows that Polaris, as the architecture as a whole, still has some life left in it, especially the ones with more VRAM, like the 8GB 470 and 480. For Crysis, I decided to do something a little ridiculous. 4K, very high. The result was an average of 34 FPS with 23 FPS 1% lows. What's especially funny is I had previously tested this PC using the Intel HD 4000 integrated graphics, where it managed around 40 to 50 FPS at 720p low. At first, that might make the RX 480 4GB 34 FPS look worse, but these are completely different workloads. The HD 4000 was running at the lowest settings and at approximately 33% the resolution, while the RX 480 is rendering Crysis at 4K with the very high settings selected. The 480 used almost all of its 4GB of VRAM, so the GPU is definitely being stressed heavily here. And the CPU wasn't the bottleneck either, as well, it's 4K. So while the raw FPS number is lower, the 480 is doing an absolutely enormous amount more work than the HD 4000 was, so very impressive result here. And this is 4K gaming on a 480, so not half bad. Now for something much more ridiculous. Resident Evil 9 Requiem. This game launched only 2 months ago, yet this dumpster PC managed to run it at 1080p lowest with TAA at an average of 66 FPS with 48 FPS 1% lows. The biggest problem was, once again, the 4GB of VRAM. I could increase the settings somewhat, but the limited memory quickly became a problem. An 8GB RX 480 could potentially push around 40 FPS or more at medium or high settings, and the CPU is also starting to become a limitation, occasionally reaching 90 to 100% usage and getting pretty hot. But honestly, this result is insane. A 14-year-old CPU and a 10-year-old GPU that, well, the PC was found in a dumpster are running a game released just 2 months ago at over 60 FPS at 1080p. I genuinely wasn't expecting this PC to make it this far. Like, I mean, I thought that was going to be the limit, as it's 4GB of VRAM, but this just shows that Resident Evil 9 Requiem is actually pretty optimized, and this PC still has some life left in it. This is an example of a game that absolutely destroys this PC, using its biggest weakness, the 4GB of VRAM, and the game in question is Oblivion Remastered. At 720p low, the system averaged just 27 FPS with 13 FPS 1% lows, and the main problem, like I said, was the 4GB of VRAM. The game is so demanding on video memory that textures and other data normally stay in VRAM start spilling over to system RAM, and the entire system ended up using around 20 GB of system memory. The result was constant stuttering and extremely poor frame pacing. The CPU wasn't the bottleneck at all. There simply wasn't enough VRAM. An 8GB RX 480 can get around 30 FPS at 1080p medium, so seeing the 4GB version to struggle to even maintain 30 FPS at 720p low really demonstrates how badly VRAM capacity can hurt performance in modern games, especially in UE5 slop like this. Indoor areas were much better because they used less VRAM and could reach over 60 FPS. But overall, this is a perfect example of how limiting a 4GB graphics card can be in 2026. Cyberpunk 2077 was tested at 1080p medium, where the dumpster PC averaged 34 FPS with 27 FPS 1% lows. Surprisingly, the 4 gigs of VRAM limit wasn't a huge problem here, and the RX 480 stayed relatively cool throughout the test. The CPU wasn't quite a bottleneck, although it hovered around 60-70% usage and reached around 83 degrees Celsius. Obviously, the RX 480 doesn't support ray tracing, so that's completely off the table, but even without it, Cyberpunk still looked pretty good in medium settings. Getting playable performance in one of the most demanding games of the last decade from a 14-year-old CPU and a 10-year-old GPU is honestly a pretty impressive result for a PC that cost me nothing. And you could achieve 60 FPS pretty easily just by turning down the settings to their lowest and using FSR set to quality. So even though the game doesn't look as good, you can definitely get a 60 FPS experience from this. Overall, a pretty nice experience, and one that you can actually choose between 30 and 60 FPS from. Wreckfest at 1080p Ultra with the medium texture selected averaged 61 FPS with 1% lows of 35 FPS. The reason I had to lower the texture quality is once again the 4 gigs of VRAM. Frame rates also fluctuated quite a bit depending on how many cars were on screen, ranging from around 30 FPS during the most demanding moments to as high as 90 FPS in lighter situations. Because of that, time trials would probably provide the best performance since there are fewer cars competing for the CPU and GPU's resources. More demanding maps could also lower the frame rate further, but overall this is still a pretty decent result. A completely free PC from Dumpster ranging around 60 FPS with one upgrade in Wreckfest at 1080p Ultra is definitely nothing to complain about, even with the medium textures. Finally, we have Fallout 4 at 1080p Ultra, with the system average exactly 60 FPS with an incredibly impressive 59 FPS 1% low. This was probably the easiest game of the entire test for the PC. Only around 2 GB of VRAM were actually being used, and neither the CPU nor the GPU were particularly stressed. The result was an extremely smooth and locked 60 FPS experience. Fallout 4 is also much closer to the era when this hardware was actually modern, so this result makes a decent amount of sense. In fact, I'd expect most games from around 2015 or earlier to run extremely well in this system at 1080p Ultra, especially if they aren't particularly demanding unlike Fallout 4. Fallout 4 was demanding for its time, but this RX 40 and i7-3770 combo handled it perfectly. On to the conclusion. So, what have we learned from this dumpster PC? Honestly, a lot more than I expected. With just an RX 480 added to the system, which by the way isn't even that expensive of a GPU, this free PC can run everything from Minecraft Java with shaders, to GTA 5 Enhanced, and even Resident Evil 9 Requiem at playable frame rates. The biggest weakness is clearly the 4 gigs of VRAM on that poor old 480. The 8GB one would do much better. Games like Oblivion Remastered show just how brutally limiting 4 gigs can be in 2026, while older and better optimized games have absolutely no problem with it. The i7-3770 is also starting to show its age in CPU-heavy games like CS2 and Minecraft Java, but it still has enough performance to make this system surprisingly capable. The comparison with my earlier Intel HD 4000 testing, which by the way is the iGPU in the i7-3770, really shows just how much the RX 480 4GB transformed this PC. BeamNG went from roughly 14 FPS at 720p lowest to 58 FPS at 1080p normal, while Crysis went from around 40 to 50 FPS at 720 low to being capable of running at 4K very high. For something that I literally found in a dumpster and got for free, I really can't complain. This thing has absolutely no business running modern games as well as it does, and that 484 gig is like a $50 GPU on eBay, so this is some seriously impressive stuff right here. But yeah anyways guys, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Remember to like, subscribe, join our Discord server linked in the description, join membership, and see you in the next one. Have a nice day.